What a dumb game last night. Congrats to the Eagles, Packers. I'm just going to go off the dome. I don't know what to tell you. We'll get to it here on the Up and Adams show. We'll get to week 11, which is crazy. We've got fun guests, though. Jason McCourty is on the show, and we will have Carmen Vitali from Fox Radio join us as well. I guess we should talk about the game last night, Matthew Hamilton. I guess that's just what the crap part of the gig is. No, I'm kidding. All football is good football. It was a defensive showdown. The amount of, oh my God, the amount of defense, and we have Jason McCourty, Super Bowl winning dude who, of course, covered that game down. Buffalo lost to Miami, a star defensive player, part of that Super Bowl where the only play that happened was Gronk between the Rams and the Patriots. Like he had his hands in that debacle. I am so
big interception in that debacle.
There's the best football game is well balanced offense, defense. The second best thing you can get, very close to the first best thing you can get, is high scoring. You can't lose with that on both. You just can't lose on both sides. We're high scoring. Then somewhere is that after that, far after that, is like a brilliant defensive performance. This was not that, you losers. This was about, and I'm not Halfley, this defense, Valentine, Micah, their defenses, by the way, Packers fans, we'll dig into this. This is what's going to keep you into these games, and you've got a stupid gauntlet coming up, Packers as well. And now are the Bears, where are the Bears and the Packers? Are the Bears above them right now?
They are. The Bears are ahead of them. They're the Bears are the 6th seed right now. The Packers are the 7th seed.
I love this for Chicago. We'll get into that. Carmen Vitali is the queen of the NFC North, so she'll break it down. But when it comes to Hamilton, don't you go anywhere. Don't you run away from me. When it comes to these like defensive performances, and it's not about like, I don't like the people who think that it's like looking down at your nose. It's like when you're around rich people and they're like, do you like this Renoir? What do you think of this like piece of art? And you're like, I don't know. She's kind of looks, I don't know. Like, I don't really see it. Or it's like when you go on a date and the guy is like, this is the order to eat your sushi in, because if you don't do it like this, you ruin the like whatever. It's like when someone asks for like ethical milk. Like, to me, it's just like, it's this overbearing, like you know what it is? It's the sentiment of like, you don't get it. Like, hey, if you can't like love a defensive low scoring performance, you don't get it. I'm fine with a defensive performance, not a low scoring piece of whatever this was last night on really both sides. But congrats to the Eagles, Hammy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, it's like if you can appreciate a game like this, then you don't know ball. Like it's ridiculous. Yeah. I'm with you. It was not a well played game. It was not a well played game on either side. And I think both head coaches would tell you it was not a well played game on either side. There were good things to come out of it, but yeah.
We got one coach being asked about his job security in Coach LaFleur. Packers fans fans are wild. Packers fans want to dump LaFleur. Bills fans want to dump Josh Allen. There's craziness going on in the NFL. We'll get to it with Jason McCourty. I'm in a mood today. I got on the call this morning, Hamilton. I was in a mood because of this Packers game, because I cannot understand, like don't make my job hard, Packers. Don't make my job of like getting excited, being excited, saying you're going to go to the Super Bowl. I've been harsh on them. I have not been put Pollyanna on this Packers team. I say cigarette squashing. You need to be as tough as you think that you are, that you want to be. I don't know that they're that. They've been inconsistent all season long. I never know what I'm getting. And last night, I knew what I was getting. You know who else knew? The Eagles defense, because they were running on every freaking play. Run, 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 run. That's all that they did. This did not live up to their potential. And like, I'm sorry, is Tucker Kraft like the best thing that's ever happened? Because him being out there, like I know that guy was like eulogizing him, that player. I should know his name. I forget. Hamilton, maybe you can look it up.
It was Romeo Dobbs.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on Romeo Dobbs last night. I'm not happy with these Packers. We'll get into it. But this great defense, smash mouth football, this was not great football last night. And that's okay. We've had 9 straight weeks of great football. And then we had some primetime snoozers. This week, it's allowed. NFL gets a bye week too. From what we saw on the field, it was messy. And that's obviously something that you want to cut out on the Eagles side too. But gosh, they really look like Super Bowl champions. And Howie's just like in that box. They keep cutting to him. They're making these graphics that he's like this. What he is, he's everything and more. They got 100 yards out of Saquon. I mean, Hafley's defense, the Packers defense is legit. We'll get into it. Saquon hasn't had these like 100-yard games. So it's nice that that is happening after the bye. I said he had fresh legs. That's great. The defense really looks great after these tweakments that I would call them, that Howie made. Jalen Phillips, like, do we all just let this happen? How are the Eagles not going to go to the Super Bowl with this guy? He just jumps in, jumps on the ball. Nakobe Dean strip sack. He makes the play of the game with the stop, with the forced fumble on Josh Jacobs. He helps seal it for the Eagles. I was already asleep by then, by the way. I had my soup and went to bed sometime in the fourth quarter. Nolan Smith, sack, as well. I saw this morning, and this is like the dominant Eagles performance that we got used to seeing from this squad last year. We hadn't really seen it in 2025. Now let's take a look at some numbers here. Eagles defense, 23rd ranked total D heading into last night, 19th in scoring. I think all these numbers are about to go out the window. We told you last week that Howie's tweaks, these tweakments, were going to send them right back to Super Bowl caliber, Super Bowl trajectory, Super Bowl slam dunk destination. And once again, that's what it looks like. It looks like a big step in that direction. And if they can do this again against the Lions, then they're on their way to taking full control of the NFC. I do want to say, and let's look at the MVP odds, if we may. Jalen Hurts. Where do you guys think Jalen Hurts should be in the MVP conversation? He's not even being at least mentioned, ? 21 touchdowns, 1 interception on the year. I know he hasn't had these like big, sexy yardage totals or these like rivalry creating Drake May, Josh Allen, blow to blow. Like, I understand that. But the way he's playing is conducive to winning, which is, guess what? The most important thing and what it's all about. He's beaten Stafford. He's beaten Mahomes. He's beaten Baker. In fact, he's 9th right now in MVP odds, which you just saw. And that's really just disrespectful, giving the type of year. This is always the thing with them, though. We're never, and I'm convinced, Hamilton, if the Eagles win 3 more Super Bowls, we're still going to talk about. You know, I ask you this question a lot when we were producing together. I say, like, what's it going to take to change the narrative ahead of a game? As we're anticipating, like, what could he do? What could, you know, I don't know. I don't know. He would just have to, like, you know, he's done it all, but we don't care. It's the same narrative over and over. It's so annoying.
Yeah, because you're right. Even if they win again this year, it's going to be, oh, well, Howie did this, and he has Saquon, and the defense is great. And, you're right. It's I don't know what it's going to take to change that narrative. And the numbers are, like, when you look at it, again, the volume passing may not be there, but taking care of the football and scoring touchdowns, I think that's the primary job of a quarterback, and he's doing it better than anybody.
Their defense looks so great. Jalen loves the Heisman winner. He loves that Devonta Smith, Hamilton. He's got eyes for him. He does. What did you see? What have you seen from this team in that connection? He favors Smith.
Yeah, and it certainly looked that way down the stretch in the fourth quarter in those big moments. That's where all of his big throws went. Even the one that he missed, that ball that sailed on him a little bit, he was looking for Devontae, and Devontae just keeps coming up with big plays. And again, it's not against A.J. Brown, but Devontae is really separating at a higher rate than anybody right now. When you really look at it, he's the one that's getting open more consistently right now. And that's, I guess, the benefit of having 2 number 1 wide receivers on your team too, because Devontae absolutely is that.
They're most complete top to bottom. They've got, you know, Seattle Rams. NFC is super, super fun. And gosh, I really wish the Packers could be part of that conversation. But Hamilton, as I am been talking about for 3 hours now in your ear, and I apologize for that because I'm so annoying. I'm so irritated with the Packers. I don't, the defense, fine. The defense is what's going to keep you in these games. We'll show you the schedule, I'm sure, at some point. It's not cute. The offense, what is you can't show up and be consistent if you don't know who you are, because sometimes you look in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm, clean girl aesthetic today. And today I want a heavy glam. And today I want thick eyelashes. And today, like, you can be whatever you want. And if you don't know who you are, it's a dumb example, but there's this like lack of knowing who they are. Okay. And this obviously all breaks down and happens when I'm sorry, Ham, you can go. I'm sorry, I didn't even see you on the screen still. I'm just like, I'm good, thank you so much. They don't know who they are. Maybe like the Tucker Kraft thing was like a way bigger deal than I thought, even though like our show probably talked about him being the number one guy more than anyone. Attitude, tone setting, like we were all over it, all that, through camp, through all of that. But their best plays are when Jordan is just like, I'm gonna take off, I'm gonna run. They aren't running the ball efficiently, but they're running the ball every time. I don't get that. 26 in yards per carry. I very much understand the LaFleur philosophy, what he wants to do. I want to base everything on the run. Yes, we know that, and so does everybody. But 26th in yards per carry, that is brutal. That is brutal. If that's who you look in the mirror and you say, this is who I am, maybe it's not who you are. Maybe it's not. Like, maybe it was so predictable all night long on first down, running. It was insane. The first drive, I was like, Hamilton and I were like, maybe they're just like feeling each other out or whatever. Oh my gosh. Last night was like self-inflicted, scared football. The drop on fourth, illegal formation, penalty wiping out a 25-yard gain. There was the false start on fourth down, 2 sacks, a turnover inside the Eagles 30. You can't do that against any defense, especially not a great Super Bowl caliber, Super Bowl winning defense. I thought the game would be more emotional. I thought like just between the tush push and the obviously like these two teams, these like supposed juggernauts class of the NFC. It wasn't that. I thought like it was the opposite. It was like a little bit sleepy for me, and I don't know. I still think this team is probably hopefully going to be in these games, figure it out on offense. Matthew Golden has to come back. Clearly, he was out with the shoulder. They need a deep threat. Christian Watson has been that threat. I don't know where that happened. I saw him sort of like say I should have caught that on that drop this morning on Twitter, which is great. But like he and Golden have to be the guys to scare defenses and to be the deep threat and spark the offense. A lot to put on Golden. He is a rookie, but this is why you drafted him in the first round. And the only answer I can think of outside of Hamilton, is there anything, sorry to put you on the spot here, is there anything with that offensive line that can happen? Because Jordan was not comfortable at all.
Yeah, it's tough. And losing Jenkins is long term is not going to help that. It's hard. That's the hardest problem to fix, because there's not really much you can do. If you're getting beat in the trenches, it makes everything that much harder. And it's a hard problem. Like, there's no way to augment that or supplement it if you're missing guys and you're having problems in pass protection and opening up holes in that run game too, because it's just, there hasn't been a lot of room for Josh Jacobs to operate either.
That's weird. The Josh Jacobs, the efficiency, like that's I don't know what's going on. I know Matt LaFleur was asked about his job yesterday. I know that they've got 8 games to figure it out, but you cannot, if you do not make the playoffs, and I think they're right now, if we look at it, they're in the wild card spot, the last wild card spot. They're behind Chicago. It is hard to feel positive this morning if you're the Packers, and you just got to say, maybe there's stuff we don't know, and maybe that defense is going to carry us because we have that, and that's it. Okay, let's take a look at some other things here. I want to look at the Packers schedule really quick. The Giants next week. Okay. They don't have Dart, but look at this. Oh my gosh, guys, 3 straight NFC North games. Vikings, woof. At Lions, woof. Bears, woof. That Bears game's crazy. They don't really have a break over the next 7. So woof, 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 woof. Brian Daboll fired yesterday by the Giants. It happened after the show. Thought about it a little bit. Wanted to get these thoughts out there before we bring in Jason. I do think Daboll from everything I've heard, people who've been around him, obviously, like, there's the Josh Allen connection, those best moments, the Gronk comes on, the time he spent in New England. Like, this is a good coach. Jackson loves him. He got, he's got some bad hands over the years. It's true. But this league, you can't say you're surprised about it. Bad results yield bad things happening, and that's just sort of what happened. It was time for change. Something had to change. I wish the best for him. OC somewhere next year. I'm not sure. Well, I haven't thought about that much. I'm just thinking more on the Giants side. As far as the other coaches, I think obviously Spags that's an easy connection back to New York, and I've seen the Halfley, sorry Packers fans, and Joe Brady, who's clearly the belle of the ball as far as coaching names so far. But my head didn't go to any of those guys first. It went to, let's give Jackson some stability and let's bring in a defensive-minded coach, because the problems on defense are mind-numbing to me with the Giants and what they have, right? And I really think, and I'm just going to say it, like, can we give Coach Lou a look? The Colts DC, Lou Anarumo. I think he's game for it. I think players love him. We saw this Colts defense was 24th a year ago. It is now 8th this season. The team's buying into him, bringing in sauce. He's a leader. Players like him. He's tough. He's, I think, from the New York area. Staten Island. I might be wrong about that. He's from where Cat McNaldo's from. I can't remember. He might be the guy. So there's also connective tissue with Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen, who's apparently reportedly leading the head coaching search. So Shane, Lou, 5 years in Miami together. I like the inside stories on what those weekends looked like. Anyway, Joe was the personnel exec and Lou was ADB's coach. So I don't know. I know the instinct is let's get one of those young, sexy, NFC Northy kind of coaches to do that with Jackson Dart. But you need a strong leader first to be in charge. Okay. And I think Lou has not gotten a shot to do that. I'd like to see him do that. And maybe we let Mike Kafka play this out and see what he has. And what if we kept him as the OC next year? Kafka gives some consistency, some stability to Dart. They seem to have a rapport. When you had all those healthy options out there, Malik Neighbors and Scadaboo, like, Jackson looked good. So maybe this is a tryout for Kafka. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, this defense, if they could, what they would look like with Lou calling the shots, I think that might be a perfect situation. Okay, quick break here. We've got Jason McCourty on the other side, Carmen Vitali on the other side. Jason, I hate low scoring games, Jason. I fell asleep 19 times. I don't want to talk about it.
Appreciate the defense.
We'll be back. Cam, how about Saleh? I'll give you a little.
I don't think if it wasn't New York, that's the thing. I think he could get a shot somewhere else for sure. I don't know about him coming back to New York and the optics of that as an organization.
That's bullshit. Really? That sucks.
It matters. Yeah, really? I know. I think Giants fans, after seeing what happened with the Jets, would collectively lose their minds, and it's not necessarily fair, but
no. Does Merrick care about? I don't know.
I think he does.
That's interesting.
But yeah, also in my sick mind, there is a little connection between Coach Lou and Mike Kafka.
What?
When Coach Lou was coaching at Purdue, he went up against a Northwestern quarterback, Mike Kafka.
You need to tweet
Kafka scored the game-winning touchdown against his Purdue Boilermakers.
Lou understands New York. I like that. That's actually hilarious, and I'm not going to even give that any love because you're a sick man. Kafka.
Yeah.
But yeah, if between Saleh and Lou, if you're the Giants, who you're coaching, the guy who, I don't know. The guy who has experience, like that's the, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm mad at Coach Lou like every other day, so I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm giving him all this love, but whatever. They're buying now. Who do they have? The Colts on the other side.
What are you doing now? The Falcons were 0 for 8 on third down. How could you be mad at them? Come on.
Over him.
They have the Chiefs. That's right. That big game with the Chiefs. That's his chance to make his statement right there.
Yeah, that's his audition to be a head coach. Another one. Yeah. He's done it before.
Yeah. Multiple times.
Apologies. What?
Multiple times.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk to Carm. I want to ask her if Caleb's the most clutch quarterback in the land, because I think you can make a case for it.
It's been a heck of a run here over these last 5-6 weeks.
Yeah. I'm sure you're excited to see Jason on the show.
Yeah. Always a big day. The absolute best.
We got to show him that Josh Allen nonsense sideline. This fan base is so upsetting to me. It's so extreme.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's the best. He does it all himself. Fire him. Look at him on the sideline pouting.
He had 43 yards all night. He gets 41 there, the longest play of the game on either side. Shoulder, pump fake, end zone. It is caught for the touchdown, Devontae Smith.
Jason McCourty, wake me up when it got interesting last night, because it didn't. This game was so boring. I don't want to hear this like elitist defensive. What was your big takeaway from the entire game last night?
I think you look at Jordan Love going into half. That fumble ended up to be a huge play when you lose the game by 3 points. But, Kate, one of the greatest Super Bowls ever played, the score was 13-3. So I think you should appreciate when you see some elite defenses out there stopping quarterbacks, run game, but whatever they wanted to do, they were just getting stomped in the teeth. You got to appreciate that.
4 a.m, Matthew Hamilton, pop on here. Do what you were meant to do, Matthew. And he goes, he literally is like, should we show the Super Bowl highlights? What did you two chat last night? Matt?
On the same wavelength.
Yeah, one of the best defensive Super Bowl performances in history. And this guy had one of the best interceptions in Super Bowl history. True. Put some respect on a defensive battle. That's all.
I love that. But for me, that game, like both quarterbacks, both offenses, when it comes to Philly, you want to see more. You want to see them take chances. You want to see Jalen Hurts get the ball down the field. I think to a certain extent, though, Philly looks at it and they went into that game with a game plan of, you know what, we're going to run the ball. We're going to put 6 offensive linemen on the field. We're not going to take those chances. We're going to go RPO, easy pass game, and we feel like that's going to do enough to win the game. So you can appreciate that side of it from Philly. They find ways to win. On the Packers side of it, we watched Jordan Love throw the ball at Quinyon Mitchell a lot more than he threw the ball out of Dory Jackson. We watched him fumble that ball that I mentioned. You wanted to see more. We watched illegal procedure formations take away big plays. There were drops on the field. Watson had a deep play he could have made. So I think from the Packers side of it, you're still looking for more out of Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur because you feel like there's such a high ceiling, but you don't see it on a consistent basis.
You definitely don't. The Eagles you're talking about, Nick Sirianni chooses to go for it on 4th and 6. There's like 30 seconds left on the clock. Hurts goes deep to AJ. Incomplete. What did you make of that decision? Risky.
I listened to his explanation about the field goal and the wind and all of that. Made complete sense. I still don't, if you're going to go for it, I don't like the play call. I think they were looking for Devontae Smith on the inside on the slant. I would have liked A.J. Brown, a comeback, some type of one-on-one route where he could have got away from the DB opposed to just a low percentage pass of just run deep and throw the ball up, especially when all game long you've been super conservative. You haven't really taken those shots down the field, and then you wait for that point in the game to do it. That, for me, was the confusing part when you look at that 4th down call.
Your former teammate, Jalen Phillips, went off in his Eagles debut. How did we let this happen? How did the NFL let Howie Roseman pull him in? And tell me why that was the dumbest decision. The rest of the NFL didn't block that or trade for him instead.
And that's the crazy thing is I feel like other teams were trying to do it, trying to get different players from different teams. I know I had Buffalo this past week, and Brandon Beane was pissed off, their general manager, because he was calling around the league trying to get players, and no one wanted to trade to Buffalo, especially the Jets in the division, different things like that. But credit to Howie Roseman. You go out and you get Jalen Phillips to come over, who was coached by the Eagles defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, before he got injured in Miami and was having one hell of a year. He comes out there in his first game and is just dominant, making plays, the fourth down stop. He helped force a couple of sacks, recover the fumble. Like that type of impact, he probably didn't even know the trainer's name when he first got out there on the football field. Probably didn't even know all of his teammates' names. And he's out there making plays that early on and having that big of an impact. And it's big for Philly's defense because they don't have the same level of edge pressure that they had a year ago that they're going to need to continue to go further down this season.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that he's familiar with Fangio and his scheme as well. But I was just like, we saw that full screen and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to waltz right back to the Super Bowl, complete as can be. You were in Miami. You, of course, played there. You've played against teams there. This Bills loss, I don't know what to make of it. I had Teron Armstead on yesterday, and he's like, the Dolphins just wanted it more. And he's saying, and I'm like, how can the Bills collapse like that? And how should I be feeling about them after that game? As you're calling that game, what are you noticing?
If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you're just hoping that, like, the team went to Tootsie's and they were on the second floor the night before the game, and it's just like a mulligan where they was out partying, and that's why they didn't show up for the game at all. To Teron's point, like, yes, Miami, their game plan, the way they came out and attacked, getting Jalen Waddle one-on-one against the rookie, Maxwell Harrison, and him winning on those routes. They tackled well on the defensive side of the ball. But with all that said, Buffalo never showed up. Like every possession they had where they got something going, James Cook fumbles in the first half. Josh Allen moves the ball down the field in the third quarter, then he throws an interception. For me, walking away from that game, I had question marks around Buffalo. For one, Dalton Kincaid got injured. He's a huge part of the offense, really their only vertical threat. And then this interception by Josh Allen, my issue with that play was Miami comes with an all-out blitz. He has Keon Coleman up top one-on-one against Juju Brents. He doesn't even look that way. And I get it because throughout the course of that game, whenever he went to that matchup, Juju Brents won. Keon Coleman was not getting any separation. So one of the issues for me moving forward is, how do you correct that? When they don't get the run game going and the defense stops that, they don't really have the answers outside of right now, Khalil Shakir catching a short pass and being able to make something happen. If the defense goes out there and tackles well, who's going to beat you on the outside? Who's even going to put fear? So my big issue is that. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they can't stop the run. I mean, Devon Achane is still running right now down the field where they just weren't able to tackle him.
And that's why I'm so annoyed that the Chiefs didn't add and trade for Breece Hall, because I'm thinking about those two teams might play each other wild card weekend. That's 2025. Bills Chiefs. We could get that wild card weekend. Like, I'd like to see Breece Hall, Channing all over that defense. Like, I don't trust this Bills run defense even a little bit. And I don't know that the Chiefs are going to run all over them or do any of that. I'm talking about the future here. You're saying there's not a guy outside Khalil. Coleman's a bit of a polarizing character up there. They lose Dalton, who, yes, crushing it in his third or fourth year. Like, he has to be the guy. He's been the guy. Josh Allen trusts him. I don't know how to get Josh Allen's trust. Like, I feel like he held the ball a long time in my 3.5 seconds. Like, and who are you giving it to? Who are you, like, to that point? Does this move the needle for you that they signed McCole Hardman today? They signed him, I believe, practice squad. Does that do it for you?
Because Curtis Samuel, very similar guy. Elijah Moore, very similar guy. Catch and run, handoff, jet sweeps, things of that nature, what McCole Hardman is good at as well. And to your point, Josh Allen holding the ball, that game Sunday felt like the old Bills team, where it was they could only win a football game if Josh Allen put the cape on and just made some terrific plays. And he actually did on Sunday. There were a few times where he ran around and threw the ball and made a completion where I'm sitting in the booth and I'm like, how in the world did he just do that? But then there was the fumble where he picks up the first down, trying to gain as much yards as possible, probably doing too much, and it ends up in the fumble. So I think there were moments where, to your point, Kay, where he's holding on to the football because he feels like he has to do so much with there's not as much around him. Guys aren't producing. And then if you don't trust that your defense, who now in that game, they've had 8 starters who have all missed time. If you don't feel like they can get stops either, he feels like it probably falls on him. So my issue is moving forward now, how do they avoid that as a team. There's no one to go out and get. I don't think McCall Hardman is the answer. Yeah, he may help him a little bit, but he's not lining up one-on-one on a third down and being able to get open for Josh Allen to trust to look that way.
And here come the Patriots. Now, you were at this game in Miami, and the internet, Bills fans, no one else. Bills fans are interesting because they're either like, Josh Allen isn't MVP. Josh Allen isn't talked enough. He does it all. Like, they ignore James Cook. Like, he does it all by himself. He's this, he's that. Or they're crushing him like they are now. Like, they're like, a lot of Bills fans are out on him. Look at these tweets. You're there. You see, obviously it's not going the way he wants. There's the heat. There's the whatever, the lack of receivers. Do we have Allen on the sideline? You saw this, of course. You were part of the broadcast. Do we have that, guys? There it is. This, like, truly, people are coming at him saying things like, he's got that C on his chest. He can't act like this. Like, he's checked out. He's married now. It's not a priority. Like, God forbid a star player feels exhausted about his team. When you saw this happen, what were your thoughts?
Well, one, marriage is hard. I'm 10 plus years now, so to their point, like, that adds another level of stress, and I'm not gonna go there.
Don't do that. Oh gosh.
There were moments in that game where, yes, if I'm a Bills fan, Josh Allen, you got us down the field. We're in the red zone. You can't throw that interception to Melifonwu. Like, Dawson Knox is covered. That was a terrible throw, a bad decision. You cannot do that. The fumble, we picked up the first down. You're trying to get, like, you just can't do that. The reigning MVP, the franchise quarterback, like, those are plays that can't happen for this offense. But, like, they still, like, other guys have to perform better. Like, Keon Coleman has to become a guy for them at the wide receiver position. If that doesn't happen, they're not going to go and make it to the Super Bowl or get to where they want to get, because teams are going to be able to stop James Cook. I know he's having an unbelievable year, but if you don't have anyone on the outside that brings any fear, like, you're going to stack the box and be able to stop him. So I do think Josh Allen has to play better. And for the people that are killing him, like, he's the quarterback you want. After the game, that's all he said. It starts with me. I have to play better. Like, that's the type of quarterback you want to have. And he is going to play better than he did Sunday, but the surrounding cast needs to perform better as well.
It's well said. On the Dolphin side, then I got to ask you, because I know you had these production meetings. You're sitting there with Mike McDaniel. I'm sure that was interesting. It always is. They win. I think it's their third win of the season. And then he, like, shows up at the elbow room. Like, he's taunting fan. Can you make sense of that? Because part of me is like, he is who he is. And then part of me is like, bro, what did you make of this? What do you make of Mike McDaniel right now?
I saw he said he lives in the area, and he made a joke about AI. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that is. They're not at that point in the season yet, though. Like, they're not flexing on anybody just yet. But I will say, like, they head to Madrid. They play the Commanders, who's going to be without Jaden Daniels. Their schedule moving forward, like, the next few weeks, they have some games that they can kind of take advantage of. And it was cool talking to Bradley Chubb. He was like, all of us in the locker room are a little bit delusional. Like, we're at the point right now where we feel like we can run the table, whether that's true or not. So I look at the Mike McDaniel, the Tua conversation. When we talk to those guys, both of them, all they kept saying is, Tua in this offense needs to play with more conviction. Go out there, trust in the guys that are around you. For Tua, cut the ball loose, let it go. I mean, he threw 2 interceptions, and I was critical of him in the game. And yes, they were arm punts. My criticism was Tua is leading the league in interceptions. And I feel like when you're having the type of season that they're having, like, arm punt or not, like, I'm not just chucking the ball up to just add interceptions to my stat sheet for this season. Like, but at the same token, the touchdown pass to Jalen Waddle, him playing with more confidence and trusting the guys around him, you did see that part of it on Sunday, and he did play with more conviction. And when your running back runs for as many yards as Devon Achane ran for, that seems to help win the game as well.
I'm trying to get the schedule for Miami, because you're saying that they're not dead is what I'm hearing. That they could. You're saying yet, so they could go do something. Dante Whitner has a quote that he said on my show that will always stay with me, where he thinks the most important in quality in a coach, which obviously, like, your team personifies your coach's personality, is delusion. Like Jim Harbaugh saying that Herbert is the greatest thing ever before even seeing him on the, just like hyping up, believing in by delusional coaches like Sean Payton. They're like impressive. So they've got Commanders, Saints, Jets coming up. What are you saying that the Miami Dolphins could do here?
As a team, I'm not saying I still don't have faith
Okay.
that the Dolphins are going to go on a run and be in the playoffs. But when you talk about specifically Mike McDaniel and what his future is as a Miami Dolphins head coach, if they start to win some games down the stretch with Tua's contract and all of that, I think there's a chance that remains their head coach if they can get on a little bit of a run. Is that going to get them in the playoffs? No, I don't think so. But I think when you talk about job security, like that can go a long way. If the offense starts to look like the type of offense that we expected this season, even without a Tyreek Hill, and if the defense plays the way they did on Sunday, and you're playing against Tyler Shuck, like those are some of the games that you can actually win. And next thing you know, you're looking up and it's like, you know what? Like we did kind of salvage the season and build some momentum going forward.
You can play to save his job over the course of that schedule that you guys just saw. TV break here. We have, of course, live on YouTube. Guys, go subscribe to the Up and Adam show with Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty. We're in break here. Speaking, I mean, if I'm McDaniel, I'm like, get me the hell out of this division where I've got the Patriots now looking like this. This is a rebuilding year, Jason. Like, crap put me on to that they were going to be good, but this is insane. We've got the coach of the year vibes for Vrabel, all of that. This defense is top 10. Christian Gonzalez, love him. Marcus Jones, they've especially maybe deserved more love. How has this secondary, in your eyes, been how does this work as a counterpunch to, a number one ranked run defense?
I mean, Christian Gonzalez, when you talk about the secondary, Christian Gonzalez is as good as any cornerback in the league. Like he followed Emeka Egbuka on Sunday, and whenever he was in man-to-man, Emeka Egbuka was shut down. Like he is one of the very best at that position. And when you have somebody like that, that changes the entire defense. What they can now call the play caller, Zach Corr, stepping in for Terrell Williams, that gives him so much more freedom to be able to blitz 5 or 6 guys. And I think that has opened up a ton for them. They haven't lost a game since Christian Gonzalez has come back this season. Their points per game are like 5 or 6 points less since he's been out there on the field. So I think they've done a terrific job of being able to blitz guys, the 2 safeties, especially Jalen Hawkins, who's been on a few teams. Like he looks like a rising star this year in this secondary, covering guys, blitzing, and doing everything. And I think to your point, what you just said, their ability to stop the run. I mean, Kyrus Tonga up front, Barmore, Milton Williams was money well spent, Robert Spillane. This team, Mike Vrabel is a terrific coach. Like we're seeing it this year. They also spent the most money in NFL history in free agency. And the guys they spent the money on are performing well, and that's a big deal.
Oh, no, I'm like, and this would be a good time to pop up the coach of the year odds. I think he stands alone at the top, and he deserves it because this is a rebuilding year. And if they beat Buffalo again, like it's got to go to him. Drake May might get the MVP here. It's like actually insane. My whole thing last week, I felt so stupid before the trade deadline. I was like, you guys need to add somebody. You can't do it with this roster. And then they were like, Kay, shut up. Yes, we can, and we will. And look at what we just did up against a team that I love in the Buccaneers, who I think are amazing. So like Elliot Wolf, I'd like to give you a little love too. I'm glad that you brought that up because he completely transformed this defense.
He definitely did. And I think you said it, they're rebuilding, and the success they're having, there's some things that you can't really anticipate. Like you expect Drake May from year 1 to year 2 to get better. I don't think even the people in the building knew he would get this good, this fast. Like you rewind and you go back, week 1, they played the Las Vegas Raiders at home in Foxborough, and Drake May struggled. We had their game the very next week in Miami. The conversation all week long was, is there too much on Drake May's plate? Is this complicated Josh McDaniels offense that worked for Brady for so many years? Is it too much to give a second-year quarterback who's now in his second system in year 2, second offensive coordinator, blah, blah, blah? The next few weeks, you haven't heard any mention of that. All it is Drake and Josh and how well they're working together and the deep throws and all of that. So a lot of credit goes to the jump that Drake May has taken in year 2, getting a good coach and Josh McDaniels.
Back on the TV side, Jason McCourty, just a couple more for you. I want to ask you about Daboll. We're talking about coaches that could win Coach of the Year. We're talking about, whether or not the Dolphins, if they get to 7 wins, if they that helps in securing a job for next year for Mike McDaniel. But they decide now is the time to say bye to Daboll. Of course, records speak for everything. They blew another fourth quarter lead on Sunday. I'm sure that has something to do with it. Who is the right coach for Jackson Dart?
Man, I've heard so many names get thrown out. I heard Lane Kiffin because he coached him in college, and he's a hot name. One name I heard today was someone mentioned Mike Tomlin. And they said, what if, as long as he's been with the Pittsburgh Steelers and all of the mediocre and blah, 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 what if he and the Pittsburgh Steelers decide to mutually part ways? What could he possibly do, not only for Jackson Dart, but for that organization who's been in turmoil the last several years? I think is now 4 coaches in the last 8 years, whatever the case it may be. They've had a lot of change. And what if a guy like Mike Tomlin comes over there, and think what you want about Mike Tomlin, not being able to win the big one since it's won Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. He would instantly bring stability to the entire organization and be able to show the people there what it's supposed to look like to build a winning franchise where year in and year out, the expectation is to win football games and be able to make it to the playoffs. I think that's a very interesting name that goes out there. A guy like Jesse Minter is one that people are mentioning.
Yes.
I heard you mention Lou Anarumo. There was a few years ago when he was in Cincinnati that he was interviewing for the Cardinals job. Yes. And he was an extremely hot name of somebody, Jeff Hafley down in Green Bay. You see, I'm mentioning defensive guys. Like, I'm a big proponent because I think those guys, and obviously offensive coordinators can do the same, but I think so fast when you have a young quarterback, we're like, all right, who does the quarterback need? Because he needs to have a play caller on his side. Just hire a good OC. You want a guy that can lead and challenge everybody in the room. Look at Mike McDonald out in Seattle and what he's been able to do with this football team. I think that's the biggest thing when you're trying to build a football team. It's not just the quarterback and the offensive side of the ball. You have to build an entire roster and set a culture that's going to win.
I want to see an OG. Mike Tomlin's always an interesting name, but then like CBS is going to swoop in and try to, if he's done, there's going to be that. Like that's a pretty, I know that nothing fills the hole, but you work for both CBS, ESPN, like those are two. The decision, if Tomlin decided just to walk away, even for like to Sean Payton it for a year, right? To say, I'm going to take a breather here. Like everyone would be after him. It would be quite a decision to make. But I do think after a certain time, like things run their course, and potentially I'd love to see him with a stabilizer, like you're saying, with Mike Tomlin. Last one for you, Burrow. My friend, you know how I feel about the Bengals. I love them. I don't even know how to put this. He's back at practice. He of course wants to come back today, but this week 13 keeps peeking up on Twitter. They're 3-6. They got the Steelers and Patriots next. Postseason might be out of the picture, but Dumb and Dumber, they're saying there's a chance. What do you think they should do with Joe? Shut him down? Let him play?
So right now, continue to rehab. 21-day window is open. He's back at practice. You just said week 13. What happens in week 11 and week 12? Like, are we looking at potentially being 5-6, or are we looking at potentially being 3-8? Because if we're 3-8, and I would be concerned. Like, I don't know that I don't think I would put Joe Burrow out there if we don't have a shot at the playoffs. Like, there's another train of thought. Well, if you're healthy, you're 100%, go out there and perform. I'm playing. Why isn't he playing? At the same token, you had surgery. It takes time to not only build that confidence to come back off of surgery. And he may look great at practice, but at practice, there's not going to be anybody falling on him. There's not going to be anybody around his legs. He's not going to have to push against anybody. He's not going to have to scramble and do all of those different things that happen in the course of the game. And I think on top of all of that, there's another Joe there, and Joe Flacco, and he's been putting up over 30 points a game. Unless Joe Burrow's coming out there to tackle Colston Loveland on a deep play at the end of that Bears game to not give up the touchdown, or he's stopping Breece Hall throwing one in the end zone. Like, there's a lot of other issues going on in Cincinnati. But yes, if they're still in the playoff picture and Joe Burrow is healthy, absolutely put him back out there. If they're not in the playoff picture, I would have a long pause if I want to put my franchise quarterback back out there.
If you were 3-8 going into that game, you hear me, Bengals. Don't you dare. Don't you dare run him out there if you have that record and if he's not fully healthy. You have to be that sure. Do you think that Flacco being so great right now says anything about Joe?
I do. I think it says something about the way they built this roster. Like, yes, you can appreciate having the weapons that they have on the outside and the talent that they have on the offensive side of the ball. But you look across the league and you look at all of the top quarterbacks, because we have Burrow in that top 4, and he's earned that, and I think he should be. If you remove Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills, I don't think they're putting up 30 points a game. We've already watched what the Baltimore Ravens become as an offense when there isn't a Lamar Jackson out there. The same can be said for Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. So when I say that, I'm not saying that to say Joe Burrow is any less of a quarterback than those other 3 guys that I mentioned. He is right there with those other 3 guys, and he is an elite quarterback in the NFL. My thing is, when you're building a roster and a team that can go out there and compete and win Super Bowls, you got to spread the love. Like, you got to have a complete roster, because to build an offense where Joe Flacco, who absolutely struggled in Cleveland, and I get it, they don't have the talent around him there, but he's putting up 30 points a game out there with what they have. And when you talk about value to a team, there's not another quarterback in the league, even the terrible ones, when you remove them, that they get better. Or I won't say get better, stay the same as an offense.
That is what you're saying. So we're just going to trade Joe to the Jets. That sounds like the move. Jason.
Joe, don't let him do that to you. Fail the physical. Don't let him do that to you.
No, I mean, I don't even know. I just did that to myself. Bengals fans are going to crush me on that. Okay, we can see you on CBS. We can hear you on CBS and all over ESPN. I appreciate it, Jason. Thank you. And congrats to Sauce Gardner, by the way. Your boy crushing it.
Killing it. Got the hell out of town.
Got the hell out of town. Goodbye. We thank you so much.
See ya.
Low scoring games. We'll be back with Carmen Vitali after this. I mean, what to make of Joe Burrow. Yeah. Look at this.
Oh my God.
Think I need 6 cinnamon rolls. Lily Bella's Bakery. Henderson.
Those
I don't know.
look amazing.
They delivered them last night. So they're cold. I tried one last night that was warm. I'm trying, how do I heat this, you know? I got to heat it up.
There's no microwave in the room?
No. No. What?
Put it in the microwave for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I need to put it in the microwave.
A little, yeah.
What do I do? Like tell them to go downstairs and do that? There's few things less exciting than a cold cinnamon roll. But they are delicious. I already had.
Yeah.
You know what we should do?
What's that?
Is it like crazy to put a hairdryer on it to warm it up? I bet you.
Honestly, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
I might. This is college chaos. This is it. I lived in an apartment in Columbia that didn't have heat. And I would just use my hairdryer to warm up the studio, the 200 square foot apartment. Hold please.
Phil Leotardo used to make a grilled cheese on a radiator. You know?
Who did that? Who did that?
It's a Sopranos thing. Sorry.
Oh, that I've never done. I used to eat cold SpaghettiOs though out of a can. I don't know why I just thought of that, but I didn't have like I remember my first apartment in New York. I didn't have a stovetop. I had just a microwave. It was
man.
Yeah. Wait, I think if we can you look up is there like bad stuff in a hairdryer that you could heat directly food? Hold on. Is that a crazy way to operate?
I mean, I'm seeing on Reddit, life pro tips. You're
really?
staying in a hotel room that doesn't have a microwave. You can use the hairdryer.
I dry clothes with a hairdryer all the time.
Yeah.
You just set all of it. Yeah, you don't eat your clothes. That's true.
Yeah.
What if we do this? Ready? You know, Carmen.
You put like a buffer, put like a paper towel over it.
No, you do it just from underneath.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Most unhinged thing I've ever seen.
This is the.
Here we go. Snap was low and the kick no chance. And this game belongs to Philadelphia.
In some fever dream, I don't even want to talk. Carmen Vitali, get in here. This game was so gross to me, and I'm sure you're one of those. Oh, defense wasn't particularly great offense. Just I feel like I could have been Valentine doing my thing out there last night, or whoever. Great to see you. I've had this like weird PTSD flashback to when you on like New Year's Eve did my show with me for an hour, and we just talked about absolute nonsense a couple of years ago. Great to see you. Tell me what's new. Oh, I don't hear you. Oh, no. Can anyone hear me?
It's my mic. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now a little bit. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. It's my mic. My mic has been back and forth.
Well, you're smiling, so I think that means that you feel great. You're doing your thing for Marquee Sports Network, Fox Sports Saturday. Yeah. Let's get into this. Coach LaFleur asked about his job security. What's this conversation?
I've been one of the people that have been like, Green Bay fans are so spoiled, and anybody would kill to have the records that they've had. And for a coach like Matt LaFleur, who comes from the best tree, the most prevalent tree in the NFL right now. And it's kind of a conundrum this year. I keep calling them Jekyll and Hyde, because not from like the sense of horror movies or anything like that, but there's like this conservative aspect to Matt LaFleur's play calling, but then there's also some recklessness to it. And there's a refusal to use a kicker that I think everyone thinks is an answer here. Like, I mean, why aren't you trying that 50-something yard field goal instead of punting? I mean, what's the difference? I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of, Matt LaFleur's kind of play calling, his job security. I do think that if this doesn't pan out the way it's supposed to by the end of the season, there is a real conversation to be had, because on paper, this roster is good. And I know that there's been injuries to, obviously, Tucker Kraft going down was horrendous, and my heart is still broken because he was one of my favorite players in the league this season. But you have plenty of depth, and I need to see more cohesiveness when it comes to that offense, because the defense has really stepped it up. If we're like, especially in the pass rush.
Well said. Offensive line injuries, but it is inconsistent. It's almost like an identity crisis. What are you? Who are you?
There is no identity.
No, it's like, let's run on every I'm frustrated with these Packers, and it's only because you need to live up to your potential. You need to overcome. You need to show up in these big games. That said, they're not third place. And here come the Chicago Bears, who have won 5. Carmen, as you sit there in Chicago, 5 of their last 6, 4 of those wins trailing at the 2-minute warning. Caleb has gotten a lot of love from his coach, even his scrambling, his whatever. These clutch moments, this is his identity right now. Yes. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a way to live, honestly, because this is the team that gets down and they dig themselves into a hole in the beginning of the game. And then these fourth quarter heroics, I mean, Caleb Williams has talked to us multiple times now about how like his heart rate goes down and he's just like in this like Zen moment in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, can we work on doing that before you get to the fourth quarter? Because you mentioned that 5 of their last 6, they've won 5 of their last 6. Well, they've won 5 of their last 6 against teams that aren't doing so hot this season, and teams that are leaving the door open for them to come back and allowing them to hang around. But you look at that Ravens game from a few weeks ago, you go back to that Detroit game in week 2.
Right.
These are teams that have the offensive firepower to score points on you and get you into a hole that you can't climb out of. You have no hope of climbing out of. And I feel like that's we're going to start seeing that as the Bears continue to play, because their upcoming schedule is not as favorable as it has been the last 5 games.
It's very true. It's my favorite. It's a hell of a way to live needs to be the quote. That's it. And it is. And as somebody who loves to be put into a corner, and that's when I thrive and my heart rate goes down. Like I very much empathize with that, and I enjoy it. That said, we have like 2 minutes, so let's get our heart rates down. Let's win this game. I'm going to ask you: is Caleb the most clutch quarterback in the NFL?
I mean, statistically, he's got the most fourth quarter comebacks of any player in the league right now.
Get out of here! What do you think?
No. Here's the thing is I don't want to have to use that pressure against him. I don't want him to have to be under that pressure to move the ball down the field. And like the thing that's been maddening to me is he's got an incredible amount of talent. Ben Johnson is an incredible offensive coordinator. Bears have the most explosive plays of any team this season, by the way. And it doesn't feel like Caleb trusts the play call every single time. And that's where I'm like, there's no rhythm to get into then. It's hard to call a game if you're Ben Johnson because it's just, it doesn't kind of sync up. And when Caleb is kind of creating. Now, those explosive plays, a lot of them have come up off script. And you do love that about Caleb's game. That's why he was the first overall pick. And in a bind, that's exactly what you want. But you also want to be able to see him still operate this offense fully. Now, the good news is it's early. This is still, the first, we're not quite in the first half of the season, but Ben Johnson said they weren't going to be playing their best football until December. And I truly believe that. And if they can hit that stride and start getting into that rhythm and maybe not get in these holes early in games, and Caleb can move the ball down the field kind of methodically, then I'm sold.
I feel like we found a highlight. You didn't really answer my question. I'm disappointed in your answer. I just wanted you to say he's the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. It's not a bad thing to be. I love that. Like, let's go for that. Your boy Bo on that list. I think Baker on that list. We saw a highlight though that is made for Carmen Vitali. This Bears tackle, Darnell Wright. I don't know much about him, but what a clinic in Queen of the Trenchland against the NFL sack leader Brian Burns, who I know a lot about. Can you talk me through this?
This is why you tell offensive linemen, or you stress pad level with offensive linemen, because the strength out of Darnell Wright, first round pick a couple years ago out of Tennessee, he has the strength, but he's also using his leverage from like below Brian Burns to just take him out with one hand. I mean, that's incredible, but it's also an incredible understanding of leverage, where his power comes from, how to utilize that. Ben Johnson calls Darnell Wright his unicorn, and I honestly don't think it's going to be long before we see Darnell Wright with the ball in his hands. That's what I'm predicting down the stretch of the season when this offense starts to get even more creative.
Last one for you. Let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture. You know this division. Obviously your time in Tampa, all of that. 3 teams in the NFC North are in. How many end up making it?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's all 3. I mean, we've seen it happen. So I really think that, the Bears, this is a bonus year for the Bears, right? So if they even flirt with the postseason, that is an incredible success to me. I think this is still the Lions division, provided that they can stay healthy. The Packers, we talked about, I don't know what to do with them, but they have to figure it out. I mean, and if not, Matt LaFleur he's coaching for his job down this stretch. And I think he knows that based on what he said after the game last night. So I do think that it ends up definitely being Detroit and Green Bay. Again, if Chicago even flirts with it, that's incredible. That's great for the first year under Ben Johnson.
And our Bucks cannot flirt anymore. It's a must-win game for them.
It is.
In week 11. I forget who it is, but it's a big one, and they better freaking win. Carmen, love to see you. Watch her all over. Oh, it's the Bills. Let's see if they fire their quarterback by then. Bye.